But if the family is more comfortable with letting Uncle Floyd say the shit that Uncle Floyd wants to say, then making sure that other people don't feel attacked, aren't being made to feel miserable, aren't marginalized, racialized, then like the family's made the decision. So it's not an ultimatum. The family's made the decision for you. Mm-hmm. And this line about like, well, so-and-so comes from a different generation. Well, they're living in this one now.
So do I.
We all have internet access.
How you making sure that I'm being protected too? Like, and I feel you're allowed to be from a different generation and I'm allowed to too. Why can't we? Again, it comes back to like, there are certain things I can disagree with you on, but there are certain non-negotiables. And 100%. Like human rights, as an example, is a non-negotiable for me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to de-escalate.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
I'm getting it out now.
I am. I'm getting it out now. I am de-escalating. Do you want to take a breath together? Hold my hands. Ready?
Okay. I don't want to.
Welcome to Playing House, the podcast about keeping your relationship sexy and secure. I'm Kolter.
And I'm Dominique, and we are a real couple in a real relationship having real discussions.
On today's episode, juggling family visits around the holidays, rules for successful family gatherings, and hooking up while you're staying with family. But first, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Because I'm off of work for over a week. I'm not back until 2024.
Good for you.
Yeah, this is the first time that I'll encourage this because it's work.
Oh, hit the wrong one. Redemption.
Random song starts playing. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. It's time. I've been burnt out for a while, and I will see them in 2024 in the new year.
Talk to me about the burnout.
It was largely self-inflicted. I'm a bit of a type A personality.
Yeah, control freak.
Who
workaholic.
Does not like to delegate. So it was largely me convincing myself that I can and should do all things, which is absolutely not what I'm paid to do. So don't know why I thought, tried, or did that.
I think that's most jobs, though. That's most people, right? Especially if you're in the same company for a while, because you end up just like, first off, you want to impress them when you start.
Sure.
So you're working as hard as you possibly can. You're doing like 60, 70 hours a week. You're proving what you can accomplish because you want to be an asset, right?
They
just expect that.
Well, I think that's it. Like, it's very much a millennial mindset that like we need to over deliver at all times, and it's going above and beyond whatever is in our job description. And that's not necessarily whatever gets you promoted or gets you the recognition. Like, you're paid to do a certain job, and you should do that job, but it's not always necessary to burn yourself out trying to do everybody else's job too.
But what about the shareholders? What about nobody thinks about the shareholders?
I'm a stakeholder, so I'm putting myself at risk, at stake, when I don't take care of myself. And like I had an emergency earlier this week, so an eye emergency. I once had to do emergency laser eye surgery. I won't get into the details. But my optometrist warned me, if you start seeing flashes in your eye, that's a sign that you are going to need surgery again. Go immediately, either come to me or go to an emergency room because there's going to be very little time for you to solve that.
What happens if you don't do that? Do you go blind?
Potentially.
Ooh.
Potentially. And just my eyesight can be affected, like very badly. I don't want to go into the details because it's gross. But so I saw a flashing light in my eye for weeks. But it's weird because, and she was explaining to me that when you're busy, when you're staring at a screen all day, when you're in front of lights, it's not something that you'll necessarily notice. So when you're calm, and I was seeing it at night, especially like when I'm going to bed and when I'm waking up, just like when you're calm, that's when you're able to focus and notice these things. So I was literally running myself into the ground to the point where like I couldn't even stop and notice that my eye was potentially at risk.
Well, and you also didn't bring it up to me. And I'm sure part of that is because you're not noticing it all the time. Maybe when you and I are chatting, like you're not remembering it. You're focusing on something else, me, ideally. But something that like a lot of people have had trouble with, especially after I got sick, was talking to me about their problems. And so I'm worried that you suffer from a little bit of that as well. To go like, hey, I've got like an acre of pain, knowing that I went through cancer treatment a couple of years ago and still have like lingering effects of that. Your problems are your problems. My problems are my problems, just as human beings, but also like we can have compassion for each other.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, maybe there is potentially a bit of that. I mean, I'm not aware of it. So maybe, yes, the 2-3 years that we went through all of that, and I told myself, like, my problems don't matter. Like, there's a larger life-altering issue.
Some of them don't, but...
And you're also one to very much react with that. Like, if I mention a problem, you'll be like, I went through cancer. Like, yeah, you'll say it as a joke.
Okay, as a joke.
Like 75% as a joke.
I'd say closer to like 80%.
Okay, yeah. So...
Tell me these things. Promise me, please.
Sure.
Promise me.
Sure. Again, it wasn't even something that I was paying attention to, which is why I let it go on for so long. I also had, what was it called when they put...
GERD? Oh, an endoscopy.
You love mentioning GERD. I had an endoscopy last weekend. And when I woke up, they told, first of all, best nap of my life.
Yeah, they used like that Michael Jackson shit to put you to sleep, right?
Michael Jackson shit. They didn't kill him with anesthesia.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They gave him
he had like medication he was taking that he wasn't supposed to. I don't know.
Anyway, give me the Michael Jackson shit. Not like, oh my God. Not as much, obviously, but.
If I knew that was the case, I wouldn't. Anyway, so I was very nervous about it. Had the best nap of my life, then woke up. And they're like, yeah, you have acid reflux, which we already knew. But you need to change your lifestyle and that you need to be less stressed. I'm like, well, how the hell? I got a toddler. I got a full-time job.
It's the holidays.
It's the holidays.
Who's de-stressing during the holidays? Come on.
Which part of me?
It ain't happening.
And mind you, I'm talking to a nurse as I say this. Like a woman who's just running around from bed to bed helping other people. So she gets it. But yeah, it was very much like the last quarter of 2023 has been me running myself to the ground for no reason other than...
Capitalism.
Hey,
capitalism, baby.
Absolutely. But catch me up on your life. What's going on?
What's going on with me? I'm getting a lot of great feedback lately, which is really great because I've been working my ass off. It's been like, thank you. I've been working my ass off this year and creating content. And I don't know why, sidebar, I hate that fucking term.
Why?
I'm a content creator. Like, yes, I don't know.
Content producer?
No, just like the term content.
Oh, Lord.
It just makes it seem like it's
lesser than?
Yeah, like it's just like a commodity. And I guess it is a commodity.
It is because it's so short-lived. Like people will scroll on it, watch it for 30 seconds if you're lucky, and then scroll right on and never see it again. It's such a short-term thing. But
even like evergreen stuff or longer form stuff.
Yeah.
Like this, for instance, like a lot of work goes into this. And I like just to call it content, it just makes it seem like it's part of this stew of like Netflix and Spotify and YouTube and TikTok. And like, as I say these things, I understand it. Like I understand the term content creator. I don't think it's cringe to call yourself a content creator. I want to be clear about that. But like a lot of it is more than that. It's storytelling. It's production.
Absolutely.
It's marketing.
Absolutely.
It's tough as hell.
Listen, I literally work in the partnerships world. I get it. I seek out content creators all the time, pay content creators money, try to give them platforms and amplify their voices. I get it. It's a lot of work. You and I both studied broadcast. We know the behind the scenes that needs to go into this. And then on top of that, the actual production part, like the sitting and the talking and
yes, the sitting and the talking
and like the storytelling part, right? Making sure that you're like capturing people and keeping their attention. And then there's the post production, like you mentioned, the marketing, making the stuff look pretty.
It's a lot, and it's very fulfilling, and I love doing it. It's also like it's work. It's hard work, and I enjoy that.
Yeah,
and I love this so much, and so to get great feedback, especially from people you really respect. You know, Kevin Getz. I got my friend Kevin Getz. We used to work together. Just one of the. He produces a podcast for CBC. He's just like, he's a genius. And I could go on and on about this guy forever, but it's my podcast. It's not his. But we were texting today. He hit me up and he said, your content has been, and then 3 flame emojis.
Nice.
Hey.
flaming garbage.
Okay. You are also on this podcast, so keep that in mind. But like we had a great conversation and I was talking about how it was like I've really dialed it in this year. I'm really leaning into what I'm good at.
Yeah.
People are really responding to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, all that shit.
You're finding your pocket and you're working within it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels good. And like I take a lot of pride in delivering a product that looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
Right? We've really upgraded the camera situation in here. We picked up the brand new Canon C70. Well, it's not brand new. It's been out for a few years, but mine is brand new. And so that's been really cool. And everything's coming together. And we've got a little partnership, a little collab coming up, which I think we're going to talk about maybe on next week's episode. We're going to save that.
Closer to the date.
Because it's we still got some final details to iron out, but go ahead. We're going to be in Atlanta in mid-January, and we'll give you more details soon, but I'm very excited about this.
I'm auditioning for Magic City.
I don't even think they need an audition. Whoever owns Magic City, the greatest strip club in the world, apparently and allegedly, they've seen this, and they're probably expecting us. Maybe that's who we're collaborating with.
Like, we need Dom and Kolter.
We're going to go, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to go to Magic City?
Whether it's we or I.
You going to buy me a dance?
Be there. No.
No? What can we get a dance together? Let's get a dance. Let's get a dance. Let's get a dance. And then what else? What else are we doing? Oh, thoughting it up online.
You've been doing
thoughting
that.
it up.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about me thoughting it up on the internet?
That's you.
That's me?
That's absolutely you.
Yeah.
It's like just you showing the world who you are at this point.
Right.
One of my sister's favorite memories of you is after I gave birth, you were whining down to the ground and you stayed low and you were just like whining on the floor because you were celebrating us
the birth
having
of our child.
Yeah. And she was like, what the? Like you were down there for a while. She's like, you guys, Meg's knees.
That was before cancer, right? The joints were a little bit better, but just thought, so you're cool with it?
I mean, yeah.
We have permission.
Making us money.
We got permission.
Again, if I'm auditioning for Magic City, I mean, who am I to hold you back?
Maybe we need some new, you know what I need? I need a partnership with a sweatpants company. Some gray sweats.
With Nike or Puma.
I'll take, listen, the Puma ones, those are the ones that really took off, right?
Absolutely.
Lululemon? Come on, something.
Lulu would work, and that's a nice Canadian company, too.
Come on, right? All right, let's get into today's episode. This portion of the show is called Family Matters. Christmas, and I think this applies to any holiday where you're visiting family, like it's a lot. It's a lot.
I love Christmas.
It's your favorite time of the year.
I love the holidays, period. We've established this. But you don't love it so much because of all the things we're about to discuss, which is all the having to navigate, specifically navigating family. And it's not to say that you don't enjoy family. You don't enjoy chaos.
I don't necessarily enjoy like 14 hours of full contact family.
Sure.
Families, right?
Yeah.
Your half, my half. I mean, it's our family, but like we're going to end up, I mean, like we got my parents. My sister's got COVID. I don't know if she's coming. I'd like to see a negative test. I'm sure she's gonna, but like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, oh, gonna see them test results.
The whole family, yes.
Yeah. Your sister and our nephew are coming with us to brunch at my parents' place Christmas morning.
So my sister and nephew are going to sleep over Christmas Eve. And then in the morning, we're going to head over to your parents' place, have brunch.
So that's like my parents' place. That's probably like 10 people, maybe 12. And then we're going over to... Well, you, me, Nia, Danielle and Mason, that's 5.
Yeah. Wow.
My parents, my sister and her husband, our niece, that's 10 people.
That's a lot of people.
A couple other people might stop by.
Yeah.
And then go over to your parents' place. It's going to be like 25 people.
Ass family.
That's a lot of people, dude.
Big ass family. So, it's our first time in a while that we're navigating both families in one day. I mean, we used to have it so that.
Oh, this was the worst.
We'd go to like your parents' place on Christmas Eve, sleep over, wake up on Christmas morning, drive over to my parents' place. And then sometimes that was split into 2 because my mom's house in the morning and then my aunt's house in the evening, for example.
And then back to my mom's or something. And for the record, seeing my family is not the worst. I just mean like...
it's just the traveling.
It's 36 hours of driving all over the place. And like the roads are a mess and everybody's on them because we're all idiots. And like you forget, because you just got... there's so many moving parts, right? You forget this, you forget that. you feel like shit because you eat way too much food.
But you say this, but it's not like you're buying and wrapping gifts. You're just carrying the gifts to the car and then handing it to the person.
That's shade for you wrapping more gifts and doing more Christmas stuff than me.
Was it shade or was it honesty?
I'll be driving the entire time.
By choice.
No. Do you want to drive?
I don't want to. Do you want to?
No.
But you're choosing to.
I'm choosing to because I want this to be equitable. And that's how I can contribute. So that's a callback to last week's episode about equity. You can find that in the playlist.
Not this white man trying to throw equity into my face.
Yeah, it's 1/3 of DEI. The
What does
D
DEI
stands
stand
for the thing inside my sweatpants.
Okay.
And the I is me, the holder of the thing inside my sweatpants.
Okay.
And then the E is equity. So
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. So I'm excited for it. I've kind of missed it, especially with the pandemic. Like we couldn't do all that hopping around. I haven't seen my family in a very long, like my larger family in a while. A lot of things have happened since 2020 where like there's been a lot of falling out. Been a lot of estrangements. Is that the right word?
Sure.
We're estranged. Quite a few of us.
And I think that's the case for a lot of people.
I don't know.
I think every family has a couple of people that you don't really fuck with.
Sure.
You know?
Like, would you be their friend necessarily if you didn't share a last name or blood?
Oh my God, no.
Probably
oh my
not.
God, no.
But like, my sister is one of my best friends. And if I met her on road, first of all, we probably wouldn't even meet on road because we wouldn't be in the same places. We're just completely different personalities. No, truly.
Where would you be? The
I
library?
don't know, like church or something? And then she would not be there.
When's the last time you've been to church?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you weren't...
When's the last time?
Easter.
Okay. Did I? No, I definitely didn't go.
No, you did not. I tried to take Nia, and then I was anxious, and I went down, and I grabbed her out of the Sunday school, and I got in the car and left. Anyways, that's a whole episode in and of itself. Oh my God.
That's probably a whole podcast in itself.
That's
the
me.
spin-off, baby. It's just navigating like
playing church. Like,
church
I don't know.
trauma from your childhood.
Woo.
Maybe Beyonce will put a song out about it. One day. Come on, Queen Bee.
But what were we saying about just probably a lot of families are having that. Like I said, me and my sister were best friends on earth, and our paths would probably never even cross if we didn't share a last name. I'm anxious about it. I'll be completely honest because of the amount of animosity that exists. Thank you. And drama. Like I think that a lot of us who are coming to Christmas together at my mom's house probably feel some level of anxiety. I haven't seen my nieces and nephews in years at this point. Like they're in their 20s.
So this is
now.
everyone.
So it's my 3 sisters. Each of them got kids. Aunties, uncles. This is a lot of people.
And for the record, I would say that I'm probably the most liked person in your family. Like I would say I wouldn't say I'm the chillest.
No.
You know, pretty wound up.
Couldn't.
Although thanks to the Vyvanse and the testosterone supplementation.
Do you want to break down what Vyvanse is for those who have no idea?
I think if you're watching the show, you know what Vyvanse is. But
I have an audience that watches this too. They don't necessarily.
It's like Adderall, but it's like the hotter, cooler Adderall. And also it's harder to abuse. I don't know why my doctor prescribed that one to me, but it's an ADHD medication.
Yeah. Shout out to you.
Yeah. So I think I'll be chilling. I'll be fine. And I'm not drinking anymore because of the ADHD medication. So
I'm actually not looking forward to that part because I'm not drinking because I can't have acidic things.
Because your body's a little baby.
My body can't handle lactose or milk, or I guess it's the same thing. Or
too many white
alcohol.
people. Let's be honest.
My soul cannot.
Just allergic to white people.
And the thing is, the joke is, I've been saying that. But here I am at 32. People are finally starting to understand. Anyways. Is
that why you're always congested? It's because we live together. It's not actually GERD. It's just your allergy to me, and I'm inside of you.
It's my ancestors stirring up in my soul.
Do I would be ashamed of you.
Oh. Do I sound congested?
No, just like sometimes, right?
Okay. I'm pretty congested.
A little plugged up. I'm a little plugged up.
How
much? Feeling? I mean, like, I'm not like anxious about your family get together.
Okay.
right? The afternoon.
And like, let's be clear about that. Even if you were anxious, it wouldn't be because like you're gonna come to my family and like you're the only white person you're Mark in a sea of black Caribbeans.
Been Mark.
It ain't never been that way.
I was Mark within probably like 6 months.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I got in there quick.
Probably. I think your first family event was a New Year's at my aunt's house. And
yes.
And you were immediately the bartender and they're like, oh, this dude makes drinks. We like him. Welcome to the family.
That's how I got in. It's alcohol. That's it. And just trying to be as unproblematic as possible, right?
I mean,
that's it.
It was a basement jam. There wasn't much to say. Like you would have to work pretty hard to be problematic.
I couldn't hear a goddamn thing.
Well, that's perfect.
I think that's when I got tinnitus. That's when the ringing in my ears started. It was that New Year's Eve party.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were saying you're not anxious.
I'm not anxious about this. Can you turn off the furnace, please?
Yes. Keep talking.
I'm not anxious per se about like getting together with your family. I'm anxious about the interactions that are going to happen because there's a lot of unaddressed trauma, and there's been a lot of like fighting over the years between certain members of your family, and there's no cohesion whatsoever. Like it's very fractured. You and Danielle are best friends, and it's like you don't really fuck with the two older sisters. And also there's a large age gap. Not that like condones it. I think that maybe it explains it a little bit. Like there's kind of a generation gap.
I have never looked at it that way. Because there's an age gap between Danielle and I too. It's just, listen, we approach things very, very differently. And you get to a point where you can disagree on certain things.
But there are some non-negotiables.
There are some non-negotiables. And the way that I'm spoken to, the way that I'm treated, the way that I'm made to feel, those are non-negotiables for me. Like base level respect is a non-negotiable. And I have yet to feel that I've received that. Oh, am I not close enough? Thank you. It's because this side of the table doesn't have room for my legs.
Yeah, we need a new desk. We need a new desk.
So I sit very awkwardly.
If you want to Venmo, if you're in the States, or e-transfer if you're in Canada, I will take money. We need a new desk. I want a longer desk. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. I say we're working on it.
There's no work being done.
We're not.
And whose responsibility is that?
And for a very, very long time, I thought it was mine.
Okay.
For a very long time.
Thought you were going to glaze over it. That's not a rhetorical question. Like, whose responsibility is it?
I know it's not entirely mine.
Yeah.
Especially as the youngest in the family, I grew up believing that, like, if mom is upset, I had to pull her aside and, like, understand what do you need done? And I'll pull my sisters aside and talk to them one-on-one. I aspired to be the peacemaker. And so I would shape shift as necessary to make everyone else in the room feel comfortable. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I'm like, no, ain't nobody shape shifting for me.
None of these people are paying your bills.
And neither should they have to. You shouldn't have to say certain things, do certain things, be a certain person for me to, like, invite you into my life. That's not how family works. That's not how relationships work.
It's conditional love.
So I'm finally at a point where, like, and it shows... it showed up in so many ways. Like when I finally said, no, I'm not trying anymore. I'm not trying to lead the charge on this family. I'm not going to be the one to fix everything. That's when it all fell apart because no one else knew how to or had ever put in the effort to do the same. And I feel like I'm using this podcast to now, like, air our dirty laundry or talk shit about my family. And that's not the case.
It's not dirty laundry. It's every family has gone through or is currently going through or will go through a version of this.
Sure.
Maybe it's more extreme. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's roughly equal. But, like, these are skills we all need to pick up. We all need to navigate these things. And I mean, for a while, even with, even with my family, I had limited relationships, right? And sometimes that's what you need. In order to, and not even just family members, but like friends,
oh my God, yeah,
coworkers, employers, certainly.
Yeah.
You need to sometimes have this
boundaries,
but like intentionally have a limited relationship where I don't share a lot with you. Like in the context of, I'll use an employer because I said that last. Like, we don't need to talk about personal stuff. We can keep it to like, we can keep it to work stuff. We don't need to hang out after work. I feel like a lot of people fall into that with coworkers where you end up going out after work. And I'm sure we could do and will do another episode on this specifically. But, you end up just like going out after work and taking the workday with you because you just spend the whole evening bitching about work,
and
right?
It's the only thing that you connect on, right? You kind of just trauma dump or trauma bond over a toxic workplace. And it's like we both have a shared enemy in our boss, for example. So let's
speak for yourself.
Well, I love my boss. Let me make that very...
Yeah, our bosses watch this show.
Is that how they...
I don't know.
Crips. Anyway. Yeah, so you have a shared enemy in your employer and your boss, whomever. So it's like, yeah, let's grab drinks and let's talk about how much we hate this person together. And if that brings y'all together and it makes you feel seen and it makes you feel like you belong because you finally have someone who like has a shared experience. Exactly. I mean, like, there's a healthy way to do that too. And I think it's important as well to feel seen, to feel connected. But then there's also the point where you go like, I'm not having fun with this anymore. This isn't actually productive for me. This is just ranting for the sake of ranting. And there's nothing that I'm getting out of this other than we both hate.
But families do the same thing. And that's the point I'm trying to illustrate is
absolutely.
In the same way that we'll go out with coworkers or some people will go out with coworkers after work and just like take the workday with them and that's all they connect on. A lot of families do that too, where it's just familial drama.
Yeah.
And that's all you talk about. That's all you have in common. It's just like the fucking goofy shit going on inside your family. As opposed to, and I feel like I have better relationships with my parents in particular when we can connect over non-family things. When we can connect over shared interests, shared hobbies, because it's so easy to just fall into this like, and this is going to sound odd, but that family is the only thing.
Absolutely, because there's like, this is what I was born into. I didn't have any choice in this. Like, this is who I am through birth, versus getting to know me who I am by choice and by growth. Is everything okay? Okay, cool. Versus who I am, who I've become and who I choose to be. So like when we can connect on that level, that's special. But when we're just stuck on like, this is the situation we've been placed in, there isn't much, like you're never going to get to know me and who I'm progressing into. And I'll never have the pleasure of doing that with you either.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, especially when it's not a great relationship with your family.
Yeah.
And so instead of like digging deeper, sometimes the best thing to do, it's like the expression, you got to put on your oxygen mask before you put on somebody else's.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just need to pause with your family.
Yeah.
I mean, with anybody, but this episode's about navigating family. Sometimes you just need to hit the pause button and go like, hey, I'll talk to y'all in a week. I'm going through some stuff or we're going through some stuff. And I need to get my head above water. I need to take a deep breath and then I can help the rest of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the other people don't want to be rescued. They're completely fine doing what they are currently doing. And I guess that's okay for them.
And listen, there's also a matter of when you start to go through therapy and when you start to develop and do your own inner work and all that good stuff, it's hard not to fall into this almost God complex where you're thinking like, I'm so much more enlightened than you. I've done so much more.
I've got all the answers.
And then so you kind of project and think that like, because I've done all this and all this has worked for me, you also need to go through this journey and you also need to do all these things. And that's just not how therapy works. That's just not how growth works. Like everybody has their own journey that they're going through. And sometimes those journeys are just going to lead us to different spots.
Yeah,
exactly. And like, that's okay. That can be painful, sure. But sometimes you just need to accept that. And I'm not saying that that's where my family and I are. And when I say family, I specifically mean like me and my sisters.
The black half of this family.
But I'm at a point where you were mentioning, I need to pause. And I've been on pause for a while.
Years.
And I think I need to, but for good ass reason. Kolter.
Listen, I'm not criticizing that.
Like my husband had cancer and I had a newborn baby. And instead
we had a newborn baby. We were pregnant.
Instead, I was like being yelled at on the phone. It was a very, very dark, difficult time. And it can be argued like they didn't know that you had cancer, for example. So like, but also I'm an adult.
You mean pre-diagnosis?
Yes.
Yeah. Because when I got diagnosed, I mean like I put out a video.
But that was also months
talked about it on the air.
That wasn't right away. People didn't know right away. It wasn't until you were going to stop going to work or work from home that you made it known.
I mean, I got diagnosed and like, I wasn't public about the diagnosis, like going through all of the tests. There were some people that knew, that I trusted with that information. And but I think I got diagnosed like September 15th, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think I started chemo like 6 weeks later.
And you put it out probably in like end of October or November that you had cancer.
Like 2 days before I started chemo.
Okay.
So yeah, like mid to late October.
But regardless of if you knew my husband had cancer or not, you shouldn't be yelling at me on like that's again base level respect dictates that like I'm going to talk to you like a human and you're going to talk to me like a human. We can disagree on things. We don't need to talk down to each other. And I wasn't getting that base level respect. And then there were the added layers that they weren't aware of you know, my husband having cancer. They were aware of a pandemic and of my newborn baby. The
people who say blood is thicker than water and these are your family members, I feel like those are also the people who don't want to treat you with respect, who say family's the most important thing, but instead of treating your family members like they're the most important people, they just treat you like shit. Because if you truly thought that blood was thicker than water and that family was everything, you would do the fucking work to learn who that family member is on an individual level and love them the way they need to be loved, not the way that you think you need to love that person.
Yeah. I think a lot of that thinking comes from just like traditional family values.
Intergenerational trauma. This is shit that's passed down from your grandparents to your parents to you, and then hopefully not to your kids.
Absolutely. And so it when it comes to base level respect and traditional family values, there are certain ways you would never talk to your parents.
I mean, maybe black parents.
Oh, I'm only talking. I can only speak for black families right now.
Because like,
or my black family. I
white
should say.
Kids are you're saying fuck you, Sheila, and slamming your door, right?
I think maybe in your family, would you turn around to your mother and say that shit?
My mom's name is not Sheila, so.
So you wouldn't ever speak to your parents in a certain way. That when it comes down to like a real emergency, you put your shit aside and you're there for your family. And like basic stuff like shit like this was not being acknowledged. So it was like, okay, blood is clearly not thicker than water. It's just messy and I don't want any part of this.
I think people also tend to put their egos first. And thankfully, this is not something that I would say when I had cancer, and I think this is applicable to like any sort of like acutely traumatic period of your life. My family put their egos aside and it was just like, let's fucking get through this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so like that was a pause of a different kind.
Absolutely.
Because we absolutely had.
It was survival mode.
It was survival mode, literally and metaphorically. But like, yeah, we still have, like me personally and you as well and us collectively had some, let's generously call them misunderstandings with my family. And when I had cancer, it was just like, that was paused.
That was paused. Absolutely.
Right? I mean, like, that was kind of nice. I remember saying to you afterwards, I was like, oh, maybe I should just like get cancer again because everybody got along for a while.
Did say that rather than trying to lead the charge on having conversations to fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had cancer, so.
No, this was after cancer.
I had cancer.
Right. Okay. See the full circle moment where I bring up an issue and you go, well, I had cancer.
But I did have cancer. Right. So what are you denying that I had cancer? Why are you denying my experience? That's my truth, Dominique. The point I'm trying to make is you have to love people the way that they need to be loved. And it also starts with loving yourself and making sure that you have the resources, making sure that your cup is full before you try and fill anybody else's cup. Because if yours is empty, what use are you to anybody? Truly.
Yeah.
It's like when you're burnt the fuck out. You talked about this at the beginning of the episode. You're burnt out from work. You going to work for like let's say you worked through the weekend or you were like, I'm going to work next. What good are you? if your battery's totally drained.
Yeah.
Even if you have confidence in yourself, you're going to do shit work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you're not going to do your best.
And that it bleeds into all areas of your life, right? So like your work starts getting messy. You're starting to get like snappy with your family. You're not showing up for your friends. It's just
your cancer survivor husband isn't getting what he needs necessarily.
Your body's trying to function on a lot of stress, which they're not supposed to do.
You're eating like shit.
Absolutely.
And you're just like in general not taking care of yourself.
Not getting enough sleep. It's and when you are getting sleep, it's not even quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to like because you only have control over what you do, right? Your actions. You don't have control over your circumstances, but you do have control over how you react to it. Maybe your circumstances are, like we've talked about a few times, work, other stressors. But when it specifically comes to family, you can say to your family, I want us to go to therapy and I will pay for it.
I've tried that.
Right? Like, I've got good ass benefits.
Absolutely, you do.
Unlimited mental health benefits.
Go ahead, baby.
And if your family doesn't want to go, even though it wouldn't cost them a dime, the egos get in the way, right? And they go, well, I don't want to be embarrassed about something that I said earlier, or I don't want to be, no one likes to be embarrassed. No one likes to feel humiliated. No one likes to feel shame. But the reality is we need to act like adults. Shame is a useless emotion. But
it's a real one.
It's a real one, but it's not productive.
Sure.
And so it's whether you're going to therapy or not, having these conversations with your family, having healthy relationships with your family, it's difficult. It hurts in that first period. It hurts because you've got a lot of old wounds that are being reopened, but then they're being properly cleaned and dressed.
Let me tell you 2 things I've learned through all of this. One, you mentioned you need to love people the way that they need to be loved, not the way you want to love them.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a capacity for that.
Not everybody can even understand that.
And that's also not shade. That's like, again, when we go back to 2020, and I'm going to keep bringing this up, cancer, newborn pandemic, that was my reality. Not that I had cancer, but like my husband had cancer. I have a newborn baby.
This guy
and
right here.
I was living through a pandemic, so I couldn't have access to any of my family, my friends, my village at the end of the day. I didn't have capacity to show up for people the way they needed me in that moment. I was a dead ass in survival mode. Like, my husband needs me, my baby needs me. Fuck what I need from myself right now. I just need to be ready to serve these people. So when you talk about putting on your oxygen mask, whatever oxygen was in my lungs was gonna have to like push me for the next couple of years because there was no time for that shit. And I went to therapy, and even my therapists that I work with at the time, and that's multiple, they were saying, you are in survival mode right now. We don't know where this is going. So we're just going to help you get day to day. Like, they understood that you don't necessarily have capacity even to serve yourself right now. And so when I mentioned not everybody has a capacity to show up and love you the way you need to be loved, again, it's not shade. It's part of your reality and where you are in that moment. It can be situational. It can be in terms of like your journey at the time. Maybe you're not mature enough yet, for example. The second thing that I learned, and I lost my train of thought, so I'll revisit it
I've got
later.
something if you want to take a second and ignore what I'm saying and think about your own thing. If you have my permission to do
work, right?
Ideally, when I'm having them. I have 2 expectations from people, specifically family members, that you do the best you can with what you have and you work on being better. You don't need to be perfect, but I need to see the work. I need to see the effort.
Yeah.
Like, if you do have the capacity for something, I want to see you exercise that capacity. And if you don't, and you realize you need to, it's about being aware, you need to do the work to get on that level. That is showing love.
Right. I agree.
Love is not bailing your family out of decisions they've made. Love is not writing a check, although that's lovely. Love is not
defending and blocking.
Gaslighting.
Absolutely.
Denying, putting your ego first. Love is getting rid of your ego. Love is understanding that you might be embarrassed about your behavior. And growth in general can be, it's like, I'll use this podcast as an example. I look back on the first episode, and this is episode 6, and I go,
I think so.
Like, not my greatest work, right? It was also episode 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to look back 6 months from now.
And look back at episode 6 and be like, oh.
For the record, join us on the journey. I guess we'll check back in 6 months. But like any creative pursuit, right? Or any, look, you go to the gym, right?
Yeah, any pursuit, period.
Your job, whatever you do for a living, your first day on the job, you fucking sucked at that.
Yeah.
You were the worst, whatever that was, on earth. You were terrible.
Maybe not on earth, because like there are people who haven't done it, so they'd be worse.
That's also you, though.
It was your first day, and that's your ground zero. Yeah.
And so it's actually good to be embarrassed sometimes when you look back at the past, because that means your capacity for empathy or with regards to work, your capacity for your ability at your craft has improved. It's when you're embarrassed of yourself now. If you're embarrassed of embarrassed about your current actions, that's because you know you're fucking up.
Yeah.
That's because you know you're falling short and you are not doing the best you can with what you have. You're dogging it.
One of the first books I read this year, The Mountain Is You. And yeah, it's like...
Yeah, you've mentioned that a million times.
It was like one of those viral TikTok books. Loved it. And one of the first pages, it's like, you need to get so mad at yourself. And I'm not saying this verbatim. I should look it up as I say it. I'm not going to. But essentially, it's you need to get so mad at your current situation, at your current self, that you get to the point where you say, I can never be this person again. I can never get back here. This is my ground zero.
Don't hurt yourself. I think we should make that disclaimer.
Well, no. What?
Well, no, just when you're saying get really angry at yourself.
Well,
don't
emotionally,
hurt yourself.
don't hurt yourself physically or mentally, but just get so mad at when you want to truly change. What needs to happen is that you're just so
aware
and unsatisfied with that situation that you finally are moved to never be back in that situation again. That reminded me of what you were saying.
It's backsliding, right? When you know that you need to do better and you wait a couple of days because you're I'm going to start this diet on Monday, for instance. Or maybe the diet is actually, I'm going to start applying for jobs. Or it's, I'm going to get my financial shit under whatever. Maybe it's, I'm going to be a better parent. Maybe it's
set boundaries.
Whatever it is. I'm going to quit smoking. Just fucking do it right now.
But
take one
doesn't
step.
It's not always that simple for everybody.
But step one is the acknowledgement.
Sure.
And step one is and part of acknowledgement is also kind of having a bit of a plan here. And the plan doesn't have to be fully formed. And I think that puts a lot of people off because it's daunting, right? It's this, you talked about the book, The Mountain Is You. It seems mountainous.
Yeah.
Just doing one thing, getting 1% better every day.
Absolutely.
And I'm far from the first person to say this. I wish I was, though. Fuck, I'd be rich. If you were the person who was just be 1% better every day, whoever came up with that, come on.
They gotta be rich.
They gotta be. They got therapists probably. I have, when it comes to family gatherings, and it doesn't have to be, we're recording this around Christmas, but this can be any, Kwanzaa's coming up. This could be any, it doesn't even have to be in the winter. Any holiday, any, even if it's just a family reunion, anytime you,
birthdays,
and all of the people in your family, or some of them, or whatever, are in the same place together, I have 3 rules.
This is a big buildup.
3 rules. And we're going to put them into practice, and we're going to be mindful of this year.
Okay.
Number 1, make expectations crystal clear. You have to communicate what you want.
You've never had a black mom. You want me to call my Caribbean mom and tell her, these are my exact expectations.
That's not what I'm saying.
For the evening at your home.
That's not what I'm saying. That seems very aggressive. When I say make your expectations crystal clear, expectations of yourself. How do you want to feel today?
I love that.
What behavior are you willing to accept? What behavior are you not willing to accept?
Set an intention.
Set an intention.
I like that.
And also, I absolutely think you need to have a conversation with the host of the party or whomever. Have have a buddy maybe, and just okay. So, for instance, with your mom, the conversation with your mom might be: I just want to understand what's going on. Who's going to be here? What can I bring?
We had the conversation. Absolutely.
What do you need from me? How can I help? All of these things.
Yeah.
And also, if there have been historically things at family events that you don't like, you don't appreciate, that make you feel like shit. It's up to you to communicate that you don't want a part of those things.
Have you done this with your parents?
We're talking about you right now.
Why?
No, I've had this conversation with my parents before. 100%.
No, we're going
this
to Christmas.
Year. Yeah.
We're going to have brunch at their house on Christmas.
Yeah.
Have you set an intention with them? Have you set expectations?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
We have expectations includes what the schedule is going to look like, when are we leaving, when are we getting there. I rank those in order of importance, obviously. And that's actually point 2 is have an exit strategy / stick to your schedule. Yeah. Especially if you're the designated driver.
We're both the DD today. Or this
but
year.
like, we're also taking your sister and our nephew to my parents' place, for instance. There might come a point, and I'm sure there will, where it's like, yeah, I could theoretically hang out all day. We got other people with us. We have a schedule to stick to. My mom's expecting us at a certain time. This is white people time. This is not the people time that I'm not allowed to say, but like, you all know what I'm talking about.
You could have just said it's not my Caribbean family who don't expect us at a very specific hard time.
That's exactly what I meant.
Okay. One of these days, I'm just going to let you drown. I'm just going to let you just drift off into the abyss and drown yourself because I can't keep saving you on the internet. I can't.
Lymphoma almost did that a couple of years ago. That's the cancer I was talking about. It might come back. We'll see.
That's not funny. I want you to stop making that joke.
So we'll know, and I'm making my expectations crystal clear with you. Also, that is my exit strategy. That was a dark joke.
Stop.
Have an exit strategy. Like if the plan is to leave and you need to communicate this as well. Hey, mom, dad, whomever, we're showing up at this time and we're leaving at this time so that everybody knows. You got us for a couple hours or whatever it is.
Ding dong. Hello. Merry Christmas. Listen, lady, I'm leaving at 3 hours from now. Make sure my chicken is ready. What?
That's not at all what I'm saying. You have no control over what your mom's doing. You do have control over what time I'm going to be there and what time I'm going to leave. My child needs a nap at whatever time, or my child needs to be in bed at whatever time. So you need to make sure that you've got a good schedule for the day, and that's going to alleviate so much frustration.
And so again, is this all internal? Is this all like, I understand that I will be leaving, or I tell the host I'm leaving at this time?
So rule number 1, make expectations crystal clear. Part of that is having your schedule in mind and saying, this is when I'm coming, this is roughly when I'm leaving.
Okay.
The host would like to know that.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
When do I need to get food going? Whatever. And the exit strategy is like, okay, so if we need to be out of here at 3, I know my family likes these long goodbyes. I'm going to start saying goodbye at 2:15 or whatever it is. Right?
That was personal. That was specifically meant for me and my family.
No, my mom takes, oh my God, my mom takes forever to say goodbye.
She starts whipping out plastic bags and filling them with food. That's how she says goodbye. She heads to the kitchen.
The exit strategy is also like, all right, we got all of our whatever shit you're bringing home with you, whether it's leftovers or some things you brought, you're going to bring them home, whatever. If it's Christmas gifts.
I'm sorry. It reminds me, I have to buy a Santa bag to put all the gifts in. Okay. Just go ahead. Leave with your things, including Christmas gifts and leftovers.
And your sanity, hopefully. And stick to a schedule. So like have the exit strategy, make sure that like, okay, we know that we need to be out of here at whatever time. We're going to leave here at whatever time because we have a schedule we got to keep.
Yeah.
Number 3, and this is the most important one, de-escalate at every opportunity. Your family
to explain this one. Yeah.
is going to say some kooky shit because every family says some kooky shit.
Okay.
And maybe they're doing it intentionally. Maybe they're not.
I'm kind of looking at you when you say this because you like to.
With my dad, we're getting better at that. De-escalate at every opportunity means you just like, you gotta, I learned something the other day. It's called the gray rock method, where someone will come up to you and like, they're really trying to disturb you. They're trying to get a reaction out of you. So you just don't give them a reaction. Or internally you go, I don't actually value this person's opinion at all. And like, it doesn't, no, truly, like it doesn't matter to me.
Straight up.
It doesn't, what you said, like I have control over how I react to this. You want to say some kooky shit, specifically like older family members that want to make some fucking garbage statement about like, I don't know, like trans people or I don't fuck with pronouns or whatever. Like, yeah, you need to educate, you need to do all of these things, but also just like, don't get upset. Because that's going to, you can be productive, you can teach, you can help people abandon that terrible mindset.
Yeah.
But when you start lecturing, when you get really worked up, that's not doing any good. You need to dial down the temperature in the room.
Okay.
You've got a bunch of people, many of them are intoxicated. Dial down the temperature. Pick your fights.
I do want to make it clear that like marginalized communities, and yeah, I'm going to put my PC hat on for a second, which I'm always wearing. Marginalized communities do need allies to speak up.
100%.
And so like, for example, I'm not a part of the LGBTQ plus community. So anytime I hear a comment,
you're going to call it out, as am I, 100%.
I'm going to call it out. As a Black woman, anytime a family member says something problematic, racist to you, I'm going to need you to call that out.
You can't be racist to white people. Oh, you mean when they say something racist about black people or people of color and they
Absolutely.
say it to me, oh, I'm calling that shit out immediately. I have no fucking time for that.
Because it shouldn't have to fall on me to have to always do that work, just like it shouldn't have to fall on a queer person to always do that work. You know what I mean? So it's on us to educate ourselves, absolutely. But we do need to be able to lean onto our allies to speak up and to continue doing the work with us.
100%. And part of that also gets back to making your expectations crystal clear and also setting boundaries. If you have a family member that's unwilling to learn, you can teach them as much as you want. If they're unwilling to learn, just like if family members are unwilling to heal with you, unwilling to go to therapy, you can't make them do anything. But you can say, all right, Uncle Floyd says some cartoonishly racist or sexist shit, whoever it is. They're not willing to learn. I don't have to be around Uncle Floyd anymore. My child, my partner doesn't have to be around Uncle Floyd anymore.
And it's that pause button, right?
It's that pause button. And if it's more important, and maybe this sounds like an ultimatum, and maybe it is, but if the family is more comfortable with letting Uncle Floyd say the shit that Uncle Floyd wants to say, then making sure that other people don't feel attacked, aren't being made to feel miserable, aren't marginalized, racialized, then like the family's made the decision. So it's not an ultimatum. The family's made the decision for you. And this line about like, well, so-and-so comes from a different generation. Well, they're living in this one now.
So do I.
We all have internet access.
How you making sure that I'm being protected too? Like,
and I feel
you're
like
allowed to be from a different generation and I'm allowed to too. Why can't we? Again, it comes back to like, there are certain things I can disagree with you on, but there are certain non-negotiables. And
100%.
like human rights, as an example, is a non-negotiable for me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to de-escalate.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
I'm getting it out now.
I am.
I'm getting it out now.
I am de-escalating. Do you want to take a breath together? Hold my hands.
Do you have a button that does like a?
I just have the air horn.
Like a gong.
Ready?
Okay. I don't want that.
That's a way of de-escalating. I am king of I need 10 minutes.
Yeah, you are.
And it's okay to like fuck off and go on your phone for 10 minutes in the spare bedroom or like go outside and just sit in your car.
We should just do this. Sit it across from me.
Bring a podcasting setup.
Yes. I sit across from me at like the brunch table and then we'll look at each other and if I blink really quickly, just reach out and we're going to breathe together over the brunch.
And we'll give no context to
No
anybody.
context
That's
at
it.
all.
No context.
Bumped into the microphone.
So make expectations crystal clear, have an exit strategy, stick to a schedule, and number 3, de-escalate at every opportunity. And remember that you can leave whenever the fuck you want.
Absolutely.
Families in general seem to be more preoccupied with quantity over quality, with just like, well, we have to get together over the holidays and we have to spend. Exactly. And it's like, well, if everyone's miserable.
Why are we doing this?
So you asked me about setting an intention. My intention for the end of the day is to go, we fucking nailed that. And I had such a good time with everyone. And actually, I wish we would have spent more time at brunch, at dinner, whatever.
That's beautiful.
But like we have a schedule. So our schedule for the day is our daughter needs to nap. The nap needs to start between like 11 and 12, right?
Is that after brunch? I don't know what time brunch is.
That's what we're working out. We'll get to brunch for like, let's say 9:45, 10, something like that. Maybe 10, have a meal. Our daughter will go to bed at like 11:30 in the spare room, nap for 90 minutes. We will leave when she's up. We're going to drive to see your half of the family. We're going to be there for a couple of hours, but like our daughter needs to be in bed at 8 o'clock, which means we probably need to leave your mom's at like 6:30 at the latest, right? Because she needs to bathe. It's a big day for her. We got to calm her down. So like that's all part of sticking to the schedule and having an exit strategy.
That's great. And my intention is to...
I bought you a mute button.
I know, but I'm also talking, so it's awkward for me to suddenly mute myself. I appreciate it. I've been using it.
Have you? You'll never know because we wouldn't be able to hear the coughs if you have. So that's how that works.
My intention is to honor my inner child. Okay. I love Christmas. I freaking love Christmas. And my dad has this funny memory of me. He's saying that like I used to sleep under the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve because I loved it so damn much and wanted to be the first one up to be at the tree. So I want to honor that little girl. I want her to enjoy the holidays regardless of what anybody else is experiencing that day, any energy that wants to be shared.
It's all about you.
I want to give my daughter the opportunity to love the holiday as much as I do and to also honor little Dominique in her love of the holiday. And like there have been some terrible Christmases in my childhood as well. But I love that I've kept that Christmas spirit and that love for the holiday, and I want to honor that, and I want to give my child, like I want to pass it down to my child too. So that's my intention.
Okay. I love that. We're going to get to Pillow Talk, and then afterwards, we are taking your questions. You can submit them anytime. Slip into our DMs at Kolter Talks, at dom.creates on Instagram, and we will address them on the show. So we've got one about our family's reactions to us getting together. We'll get to that in a sec. Pillow Talk. Today's question, or I guess today's topic, having sex when staying with family / when family is staying with you. Because again, it's the holidays. You might be camping out overnight. They might be staying with you. I'm 10 out of 10 comfortable with it.
I know.
So.
I know.
But I don't want other people having sex in my home. So if you're staying over at my place, you're not banging. You're not allowed to. It's my rules. But I reserve the right to have sex at your house. So.
You're also just like always ready to go. You're always just like, you could turn it on.
We got comments about that in one of the last clips I shared, by the way.
Which one?
They were like, look at him. He's ready to go.
Oh my God.
And they kept talking about my pupils when I was looking at you. I don't know what that means, but.
I think if your pupils dilate, it means you're attracted to someone. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know, something to do with like the way they dilate.
Sure.
I didn't read the comment. I'm assuming it has to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it at all. It just it feels weird to me. Like there are times when I can, and like if they're not on the same floor as us, for example, like maybe.
Definitely not if they're in the same room. Like if you're like, oh, you're bunking in the spare room with Uncle Floyd or whatever, you know?
There he goes again. Yeah. Classic Floyd. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I prefer not to. Like I like the idea of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like being an exhibitionist. Is that the word?
Is it like, I feel like being an exhibitionist is being like naked on parade or whatever.
Sure, but I'm thinking like if we're at a hotel in a different city, like I can fuck in front of the open window, for example, like that. But I don't know the people in that city, and I
Whereas
probably
this is
never
the opposite.
see them.
You're related to these other people potentially.
So I don't want nobody to hear me. I don't want nobody to like even think that's the possibility. Like just don't look at me in that way.
You've like smothered me before. You've like put a pillow over my face.
Yeah, because you're also a loud person.
Sure.
In all ways.
I'm just trying to express my gratitude. I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? Like compliments to the chef, right?
That's your problem, that you can't keep your ass quiet.
Okay.
So I'm like, no. Problems. Maybe if I was with a quieter person, maybe I'd be open to it. But you gotta be loud.
So for you, it's like it doesn't matter if you're staying at someone else's house or if they're staying at your house. You're like, it's not happening.
If they're at my house,
so your sister is staying over on Christmas Eve.
Well, she's staying in the basement.
So there's a floor of separation,
floors,
right?
Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm more open to it.
Okay.
But if I'm at my sister's house,
sure.
No, I'm right next door. I don't want nobody to hear like the bed creaking, something hitting the wall, moans. No. And I think that's like comes down to me just not being
a prude,
comfortable with my sexuality, even at this age.
Yet. You deserve to be comfortable with your sexuality. You're hot as fuck.
I was raised in the church, and so it's being brought up to believe like sex is wrong and sexuality and sensuality are wrong and like temptation and all these terrible things. And then suddenly get married. There's no transition. There's no like opening up.
Fuck
this
3
new
people and then get married.
Chapter. There's no like, it's okay to masturbate. What's the word I'm looking for? Orgasms are beautiful and should be enjoyed. There's none of that. There's no getting comfortable. It's like, this is wrong. Never do this. And then suddenly it's the black cake lady is calling me because I'm supposed to be picking up the cake right now. Then suddenly it's like, yeah, okay, go forth and bear fruit. What are you talking about?
Okay. So that's no, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay. I say go for it. Just go for it. All right, this is the mailbox portion of the show. Again, you can DM us. You can obviously just like write a question, but we love to hear your voice. This one is from Desiree.
How did your parents react when you two got together?
Shout out to Desiree. That's, I think. What's her Instagram name? Desiree, A Desired Journey. Anyway, follow her. She's dope. How did your parents react?
It wasn't like, silence. No, my silence makes it seem like it was this terrible thing. How do my parents react? My parents are very much like, oh, we need to spend all of the time together all the time. So like the day that you came over and met them for the first time, which was way too early. We were 18 though. And it was like a couple months later and I was like, oh, I need to introduce my, for what? Clap? Yeah, here we go. For the acknowledgement? Yeah. And who wouldn't want to meet you, right? Come on, you're the best. But
it's long.
It was a little early. And I feel like if I was seeing someone now, I think it would be like probably like at least a year. I'm also a 32-year-old man. I might be engaged before my parents meet my partner.
Fair enough.
You know? So it was really young. And so there's this, like you come out to the suburbs. I grew up in a very white area. You were probably like the only black person on the block. And it's uncomfortable and you're just nervous in general because like you're meeting your boyfriend's parents and my parents are extroverted and they're very loud and they can definitely drink. And so I think the reaction was perhaps just the same reaction they would have to anybody. It's just like this, oh, like, welcome to the family and like, come on, why aren't you drinking? Have another drink more. And like, you're just, and the expectation that you're going to have the same personality as me and the same personality as them and be extroverted and you're just not.
Yeah.
You're an introvert. And I didn't even really think I realized that about you.
That I was an introvert?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Introvert doesn't mean you're like docile.
Yeah, definitely not that.
You're welcome.
I'd say like my family, I think certain members of my family need to do a little bit more work maybe in understanding and just like educating themselves on the reality of, and it's hard because you're not like, the realities of like an interracial relationship. And my parents are not in one and no other member of my family is. And so like, it's maybe not as present, but then also like I'm their child and I can see that some work has been done and we talk about doing the best you can with what you have.
Absolutely.
I can see that work is being done. I am very appreciative of that. That has taken some work on my behalf as well. So I would say that's the reaction was just like, maybe a little less surgical than it should have been. Right?
What do you mean by surgical?
Like surgical or I'll just stick with surgical. Maybe it couldn't have been more surgical. What I meant was like a little more tailored to your personality. They're also meeting you for the first time.
Okay.
But there was never like I should have led with this because of the context of the question in this podcast, but there was no like, why are you bringing home a black girl? Like,
no,
there was none of that.
No. Your mom reminded me that the first time I met her, so they invited me over to your house, like you mentioned. And despite living having grown up 20 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
The cultural differences.
Completely different upbringings.
We could have been in different countries at the end of the day. Grew up in Scarborough. All of my friends were first generation Canadians. All of our parents had immigrated here, obviously being first generation Canadians. And just we all very much had same personalities, same upbringings. So your mom reminds me that the first time I went over to her house, I was telling her about white privilege and how her white privilege.
I forgot about that.
Me too. But I'm like, that's an incredibly dumb conversation if I've ever heard one. I believe you. I don't remember, but I definitely believe
you came in hot.
I mean, that's all I do. I as an introvert, if you want me to open it up, give me a real topic to talk about and we can talk. And then the chicken thing kept happening.
Does she want chicken? Because she doesn't eat, Dominique doesn't eat red meat.
And so it was a constant joke of we got to set aside chicken for Dom. And it was like, why? Because she's black. And it was, God, it was a very uncomfortable time.
Yeah. 14 years ago. All right, what about your family's reaction to mine?
They
or to me, rather?
Shocked. Dumbfounded.
How beautiful and funny I was and am.
I didn't have white friends, okay?
You still don't. They got me.
You count.
Oh boy, your token white friend. Amazing.
And when I mentioned my group of friends were all first gen Canadians, we were all racialized too. My best friends were Hispanic. My best friends were brown. My best friends were Asian, brown and Asian. But anyways, and I like led the Black History Month committee, and I wrote articles about systemic racism in my high school. Like there's a picture of me on the cover of my high school newspaper with my fist in the air. Okay. Yeah. My dad bought me a Malcolm X t-shirt I was just raised about that life. And so for me to suddenly put on Facebook, Dominique is in a relationship with Kolter Bouchard. I was preparing my mom because you were going to meet her. And I'm like, listen, he's white. And she goes, I know. I'm like, how do you know? She's like, what Black man is named Kolter Bouchard?
There might be one.
Are there any other Kolters?
I don't know. Probably not Black ones, but.
So to come from the cover of the school newspaper with my fists in the air to here's my white boyfriend who's wearing cowboy boots with no socks on in the middle of summer and has a Justin Bieber shag haircut.
Okay. Aviator sunglasses.
Dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Tommy, just decked out in Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah. Skinny fat.
They were dumbfounded.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, 6 months later, I'm the favorite family member.
Absolutely. Like,
without exception.
They never like treated you badly. They never assumed malintent. Like my family trusted me, and they knew that like if this man can like break down this barrier with Dominique, he must be something special.
And I am.
You are.
I'm Mark, baby.
And we're rocking with Mark because Mark's rocking with us.
You can submit questions anytime. DM us. Submit them in the comments, I guess.
I'm working on a website where you will be able to upload your questions directly there.
Whoa, she does it all. Yeah. Wow. A creative queen. We love a creative queen.
But for now, please send us your DMs at dom.creates on Instagram or at Kolter Talks.
Please hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment.
We read them and we really appreciate them. Please leave a comment.
Share it in your stories on Instagram. We love all the support. We really appreciate it. At Kolter Talks, Kolter with a K on all platforms. And where can people find you?
At Dom Creates on some platform, but at dom.creates on Instagram.
Oof.
And despite all these calls to actions that we're giving y'all, most importantly, please have a beautiful holiday season, whether it's with family, chosen family. Just try to enjoy this time, and wishing y'all a happy new year. We're going to be back before the new year, right?
More importantly, buy some merch. Link in bio. I just want your money. That's it. I just want your money.
Happy holidays.